Good morning. Welcome to another week of State of the Studio. I'll be talking to you a little bit about what I've done this week, and I'm pretty excited about it. It is, again, a little bit different work for me, something that I'm trying to use to grow from and move forward. So last week we talked a little bit about how I was using my sketchbook to explore some new maybe techniques and approaches and styles to the work that I'm trying to create. And I have a little bit of a vision in my head of how I want that to look. And I've just kind of been slowly chiseling at how I want to approach that. And so one of the first things that I did this week was this exercise right here with the abstracted flower painting. And it was so much fun to paint. It's probably one of my favorite things that I've painted in a long time. And I really just kind of approached it with a super open mindset where I wasn't even necessarily trying to paint flowers. I just wanted to do shape and light and just a little bit of a mood. So it was really, really fun. I broke out the biggest brushes I have. These are actually not even brushes I use regularly. These are kind of hand-me-downs from some people and some that I've just had in my arsenal for years. And they just sit there because I don't paint like this. I typically love to work with, you know, these really small chisel blenders, and they're square, they're precise, and they help me do a lot of blending, but I've been trying to get away from that. So I broke out the really big brushes. I stood back from my painting and I just used a lot more gesture, a lot more wrist, elbow and shoulder movement to get a little bit more movement and flow and energy to the piece. And so that was super, super fun to work on. I even broke out the palette knife at the end and kind of scraped and pulled and got a little bit of motion in there. Loved working like that. And the color palette was gorgeous. And so I was really loving that. And then immediately I just felt really invigorated to paint this last weekend. So I've been getting in there, getting messy and loosening up. So the next project was to work on this piece right here. And I took the same color palette that I had already on my palette. So, you know, all of the purples and pinks and blues that were already in here, I just transferred them. And the intention was just to only do an underpainting like that and then move forward with a different set for my skin tone, but it just worked out so well. Your sister's there in the kid room, baby. That's working from home. So it flowed so well, and I was so excited about the colors that I just ended up leaving them, and so now they coordinate really beautifully. And another thing that I did was I left certain elements unrefined, like this one here, you know, just kind of hinted at where the hand position is and what could be happening here. And I didn't feel the need to really flesh that out and finish it and make it anatomically correct. If I were going to refine it further, I would probably take this thumb down some so that it doesn't look so long and out of place. And I would work on all of that, but I really, really wanted to show different stages of a painting, and that was part of me loosening up as well. So I've got some of the sketch underneath, I've got some unrefined painting, and then I've got a little bit more work done painting, but I also worked really, really hard to leave brush strokes, to leave gesture, and really rough things in nicely. And so it was a huge growth for me, I feel like, and it's getting really, really close to what I'm looking for in my style. And this was me looking at a lot of different artists and seeing what they do successfully and what it is that they do that I want to incorporate in my work. And so this is probably 4 or 5 different people that I follow, and I took different things from them, and I'm looking to include some more things too. So I used these same brushes again on that piece so that I could step back and really look at it from a larger standpoint. Normally I'm so close up on my paintings and I'm so focused on the detail that you almost lose sight of the forest for the trees. And so this one was much more about the forest and not the trees. And so that was really fun. And then I'm moving into another really loose abstracted floral painting this week as well. And because it's just been so much fun to do the other work that I'm kind of I'm kind of in that flow right now, so I'm taking advantage of that as much as I can. And I'll be working on all of those things again this week. And I've got some ideas for some other things, but as you might notice, I'm working on unstretched canvas, and that's kind of lending another layer of that unfinished. So I'm gessoing these panels, but really loosely gessoed so that they have a rough edge. And there's just something about that raw, unrefined state and developing these stages within the painting that I find really, really interesting right now. So I have a few different ideas of things that I do want to work on this week, and most of it is very, very colorful and expressive. So that's kind of where we're at this week, and I hope you'll tune in next week and see what else I'm up to. You guys have a great week.